that we have mentioned a number of times. These pictures from Brian Slocum. If you were tuning in 10-12 minutes ago, you heard our telephone interview with him where he said there was a hotel or a motel where a number of cars had their windows blown out, and here is the proof of that. This is from the Business 85 South Main Street area. These are SUVs, minivans with their back windows blown out. Looks like the front passenger window might have been blown out of that one as well. Certainly not the kind of thing that you want to come out to your car and see, but based on some of the stories we're seeing and hearing from eyewitnesses, if that is the least of your problems, or if that's the most of your problems, perhaps you emerged from this without too much difficulty. So starting to see some images, starting to see some video here as well, starting to see these warnings, tornado warnings for the Piedmont Triad, which at one point were almost all over the map, begin to trickle to the east. Let's go back to Michelle Kennedy now. Michelle, correct me if I'm wrong here, the latest warning does remain in effect for Alamance County, and it's got about another 40 minutes or so.
It actually has been dropped for Alamance, but I want to, the one area that we were talking about, a very big concern was that eastern section of, you can just see another one going down, was the severe thunderstorm warning being let go for western Caswell County, but this zone has not. That's a Prospect Hill possible tornado, and I say that because that's the last known zone that we were expecting it. Now it's moving into, you can see here, north and east, and it's moving east of Corbett, it looks like. And then another cell that we've been watching that is also moving very rapidly, because I just reset that. You can see here between Laws, McDade, and then this one now east of Corbett, but lots of winds with this, so hard to tell exactly where that might be on the ground if we do indeed have one. We've been watching this zone very carefully, and that is just outside of our viewing area, east of the Prospect Hill area now, but you're still under that warned area from Corbett and that eastern section of Caswell County. So that is the last remaining tornado warning. We've also, good news, been dropped from a severe thunderstorm warning that was up earlier for this storm in western Wilkes County. It has not intensified, but it hasn't moved a whole lot either. So it's dumping a whole lot of rain for folks and maybe some dime-sized hail, but we'll likely see that eventually push into Wilkes County with more heavy rain. That one non-severe at this time. What is concerning is here, and what do we have new?
Sorry, it looks like they are canceling the Caswell County tornado warning.
Canceling that, great. Okay, so it is continuing to move. That looks like it's all of them.
If Alamance and Caswell are gone, that would be no current
tornado warning for the viewing area.
For our forecast area, but still right on the edge.
Right on the edge.
Yeah.
And a severe thunderstorm warning still in effect for folks in southern Alamance County, because you remember the cell that I said we were watching, and they are watching even more carefully and closely here to determine whether or not this may intensify and gain a little bit of strength to where we could get those rotating columns of air coming down to the ground. So this one, the biggest concern, but fortunately at this time, we're now out of tornado warnings for the viewing area. Our severe thunderstorm warnings do continue for parts of the southern Alamance County area. And we want to find out more storm reports. And Kenny, I think we're also trying to get some live reports coming in from folks right now as well. Along Interstate 40, you can see the heavy rains. Oaks, look at that jump. Did you just see that happen? Also, Jacqueline, you can see that last scan on radar. Some of these storms moving between 40, 35 miles an hour. Yeah. And we're looking at intensity here. We've got hail here, eastern Alamance County. This is the southeastern section, and what looks to be some hooking here. So we're going to go in and take a closer look at the winds with this particular storm, because I am curious to see what we might have in play right now with that storm and possible developments. The worst of the weather still continues to push off north and east. This one is starting to weaken, but this is the tornado warning that folks were worried about near the Prospect Hills area, now moving east and well away from our viewing area at the moment. Severe risk areas, we've got a marginal risk area from Mount Airy south through Wilkesboro, Statesville. Triad still under a slight risk right now. Enhanced risk continues for folks outside of our viewing areas. We travel east from Burlington and points toward Chapel Hill. So that has not changed. We were dropped earlier in the day from that moderate risk, but right now sitting still in a slight risk in that narrow corridor for the Triad along Interstate 40 and some parts of the Triad that have already seen some of the worst weather so far, and we hope the worst weather that we'll see today. And it does look like we'll see some improving conditions, but thunderstorms still a threat for us. Medium risk for thunderstorms from the Mount Airy area all the way south and east. All right, Kenny, we're going to take it back to you and see what we have for the live reports coming in right now.
We don't have Justin for a live report just yet. We are efforting that as we speak. One of the tricky parts of this is we want to bring folks the most up-to-date information. We want to bring folks new pictures, new video, live reports, but we also need to keep our folks as safe as possible. We have some folks en route. We have some folks who are making sure. Of course, we have power lines that are down everywhere. That is an issue as well on our end. So we're working to get that up, and we'll have a live report just as soon as we can. Quick programming note, we are going to be on the air until 7 o'clock tonight. Normally nightly news would come on about 5 minutes from now. That will air at 7 this evening. We are going to stay on the air for about another 34 minutes. Some damage from earlier. This picture sent in to us from a viewer by the name of Lacey. This was off of Old Highway 64. A trampoline that's been flipped over and some power lines down as well. This was, of course, Davidson County, Guilford County at last check. Close to 5,000 people without power. Most of the damage reports that we are getting at this point are coming from the greater High Point area. Here's that graphic that we showed you earlier. Close to 4,900 outages. Okay, and that was quick work. We do have Justin Schreier now. He joins us live. He has arrived at the scene. Our crews are safe. Justin, it looks like the sun is shining where you are, but I can also see what looks like some yellow tape behind you. You're in High Point. What are you hearing and what are you seeing?
Hey, Kenny, good afternoon. That's right. That sun and that weather just keeps changing by the minute out here. Probably about 5 to 10 minutes ago, it was pouring out here. It was windy when we arrived on scene here, and now we're at this live shot. We just had a rainbow behind us. The sun is out shining, but that damage is here tonight. I want to show you this tree, this large tree that snapped off of its base right here, and it also fell into these wires, and then behind it, part of that tree also fell into a house. The gentleman that lives here was telling me that he and his family were cooking, and all of a sudden he heard just a massive crunch, and then he heard a crash, and that he ran into his bathroom and hid. It seems like he tells me that there is a little bit of damage to the house here, but he is okay. His family is okay. But that just goes to show you, Kenny, just how fast that weather can change and just how fast that damage can occur, because he said in just about 5 to 10 seconds, this tree broke off. He heard that crash, and then he saw that tree crash into his house, and he immediately went inside and hid in his bathroom. So we do have some damage here. And then I also want to show you real quick, if Teresh can pan over to my left-hand side, to the right-hand side of your TV screen, you can see the wind really damaged a lot of this debris back here, blew a lot of things, blew a lot of items off of this porch. You can see we've got chairs, we've got what looks like some type of a metal roof and a metal tarp that blew off into the backyard here. But thankfully, folks tell me they are A-okay, but that just goes to show you just how quickly things can change here. Kenny, we're going to send it back in the studio.
Justin, if I can, love to ask you a question or two. It looks like over your right shoulder there are a group of folks who are kind of out milling around, checking things out. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to speak with them, but before we get to that, your commute to High Point. One of the tricky parts about this whole afternoon is that the bulk of the action here in the Triad occurred when a lot of people are driving home from work for the day at the end of a Thursday. How were the roads, and did you see a lot of people kind of pulled off to the side, or was traffic by the time you were moving essentially a non-issue?
That's right. When we were kind of making our way to High Point, that rain was really coming down. Didn't see too many pulled over to the side of the road, but there were definitely a lot less people out on the roads at around 5 p.m., you know, as you'd normally expect. Normally, some of these highways would be pretty backed up and pretty congested, but it seemed like folks were taking cover, folks were inside. We really didn't see many folks that were out on the roads this afternoon, and you can see this is looks like a couple of different folks that live in some of these nearby homes who have just been coming out and taking a look at this damage after they have been sheltering in place. But so far, everyone seems to be A-okay tonight. Kenny?
Excellent to hear, Justin. We appreciate it very much. Glad that you and Teresh made it there without any issue, and I'm sure we'll be checking back in with you in just a little bit. Justin Schreier live for us this evening in High Point. All right, so now let's transition back over to our meteorologist, and as we are about to hit 6:30 on the dot, a quick programming note. Because of everything that we've gone through here for the last hour and a half or so, we are going to extend our 6 o'clock newscast until 7 o'clock tonight. NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt will begin at 7 rather than 6:30. Let's go back over to meteorologist Michelle Kennedy now. We have both she and Jacqueline Shear in-house for us this evening. And Michelle, worth pointing out on this weather alert day, all of the local Triad area tornado warnings are no longer in effect, thank goodness.
Yes, but we're watching a couple of areas still very closely as we still have some severe thunderstorm warnings, and one now for southern sections of Randolph County as well as Montgomery County, which is where Uwharrie is, and Troy. So we're going to be taking a closer look here in just a moment at that. But you can see this nice extended line here. This is the line that has done all the damage and different storm cells within. We've got those storms right now continuing to push north and east. And this is the one I was worried about just most recently in southern Alamance County, starting to exit right now, because we've been looking at those winds and the possibility of rotating winds within the storm. It didn't have the best signature on it, but it did have the severe thunderstorm warning for folks there. So eastern Alamance County, we might have seen some reports of storm damage coming in from Snow Camp area through Saxbahaw as we go up through Melville as well and through Orange Grove. So you can see those wind velocity data right now starting to drop from the 50-60 mile an hour zone that we were in earlier, but still notable because we've got some of these areas that look like they could be producing some rotating columns of air. If they're not on the ground, they could at least do some damaging wind gusts for us too. Gibsonville, new reports coming in here. Roofs off houses there, multiple trees down along Ethan's Way, and then that overturned and damaged bus from thunderstorm winds reported at Elon College now. So that is new as well. And we've got trees down along Jackson Road, and that's up in Martha, and that is in parts of western Randolph County. So we're looking at all of those zones, starting to see those trees and report the trees and the power lines that have come down. So we want you to stay off the roads if you can in those areas that you know of damage, because we might have those power lines, and be very cautious. Watch for them tonight if you're out and about. We're going to be looking here at Roxborough. Those folks there are seeing that tornado warning. That's about it, but tornado watches are still in effect for at least now for another hour or so. And we're looking at velocity here down to the south where we had seen over areas of Anderson, and we're so concerned about that Prospect Hill possible tornado. So we may have some more information coming out of northeastern Alamance County too shortly, once folks can assess the damage. And as you know, we've got heavy downpours that are rolling out with these storms. We saw that from Elon University earlier, and you've got the moderate to heavy rain still spreading east over Alamance County, starting to clear you out in Greensboro. And we just saw behind Justin too some signs of sunshine. He had a rainbow that he was reporting because he was out in the Guilford County area down toward the High Point area. And then Reedsville, you're also going to get some fast clearing, but some light rainfall there. Now we still have to talk about the winds and some showers and isolated storms that are going to be blowing up for folks out to the west, and that's thanks to some storms over areas of the mountains in western Wilkes County. But right now, this is how it's shaping up. Still want to watch down to Troy. And Jacqueline, I'm going to ask that you take a closer look right now at Montgomery County for us, since you're controlling the radar there. I want to see what we have with those storms, and do we have any concern for Randolph County now that anything else could pop up? It looks like things are quieting down right here as that exits and heads toward Chapel Hill. But I'm more worried about this line and then going down south into Montgomery County, another DMA area here through Troy. Yeah, and this cell here, any interest? It looks like it's not quite as impressive as some of those storms earlier, right?
Yeah, you know, there definitely could be some damaging winds here. And one thing that's interesting to note is how much rain is ahead of that. And that saturates the atmosphere a little bit and makes it less likely to see some of that severe weather. So that could help us a little bit. I mean, it's still a factor here that we'll be considering as we're watching this storm, and you know, still seeing some strong storms. And in fact, we still have, I believe, a significant area there, that severe thunderstorm warning, and escalated, of course, of that watch. So still an issue. We have a lot of energy behind this storm still. It's taking that energy from all of these warm temperatures that we have in this area. In fact, it's interesting, you know, you don't often show temperatures when you're talking about severe weather. I was saying that earlier, but it was interesting to follow this line of orange you see on your screen there, and as we were seeing those warmer temperatures and as we were seeing this storm catch up with that line of warmer temperatures, with that warm front that we were watching, that's exactly when we started to see things develop. So it did that as expected here, and we are still seeing some pretty strong winds here. I saw some serious disorganization with this earlier, and I was getting kind of concerned about it. And this, of course, is still one of those areas that has tornado watch just to the east of our forecast area, but now starting to see still some strong winds. Look, 46 miles an hour, of course, at that radar site, and 37 in some of those other spots. So still some very strong winds and some heavy downpours. Kenny, it sounds like maybe you have some reports.
Yes, we do want to talk about power outages. This is always a big issue, particularly anytime that we have a lot of trees down and a lot of power lines down as well. Guilford County up to 5,511. And to give you some context for this number, I have the statewide numbers pulled up on my laptop right now. Total outages, according to North Carolina DPS, in the entire state, just under 7,000. 5,500 of those are in Guilford County alone. So if we want to talk about the hardest hit area, there is no question about it. This is a Guilford County problem. About 500 in Mecklenburg County, and no other North Carolina county has even 150 at this point. And we have some more damage that we want to get to. Again, most of the reports that we are seeing aren't just coming specifically from Guilford County. They're coming hyper-focused from High Point. We did reach out to the Greensboro PD and Forsyth County's Sheriff's Office. They were not out on any calls at the moment. We'll let you know if we hear anything more about any trouble spots. It is worth noting and re-emphasizing there are no current active tornado warnings anywhere in the WXII 12 News viewing area, nor has anyone officially confirmed a tornado touchdown anywhere. We've had a number of eyewitnesses and folks that we've spoken with say they certainly have heard and seen a lot of the telltale signs. Also, while we have seen plenty of reports of damage, no reports, thank goodness, of death or even injury at this point, but it is very, very early, unfortunately. Governor Roy Cooper, for what it's worth, did declare a state of emergency not long ago. This does a number of things. It enables trucks and equipment to respond to emergencies and to power outages more quickly than under normal circumstances. Again, more trees could still come down, so be sure that you are prepared if the power goes out. If you are not currently charging your gadgets, whether it's a smartphone, a laptop, an iPad, something like that that requires battery, and you're lucky enough to have electricity right now, this is not a bad time to find the charger for those things and make sure they are as close to 100% as possible. Let's go to Brian Slocum now. He joins us once again on the phone. Brian, you've been driving out and about for about the last 45 minutes or so, looking for damage and talking to people. What are you seeing and hearing in and around High Point?
Yeah, I did run into to a woman who had some vehicle damage, had a window blown out. She said she kind of watched out her window, saw debris flying through the air, and that's what hit some of the vehicles when the winds picked up the most. She called it a tornado. It is not a confirmed tornado at this point. Typically, these things are determined when National Weather Service crews work with local emergency management. They go out, they survey the damage and look for damage that's either all laying in one direction, would be straight line damage. If trees are laid down kind of in a circular pattern, that would indicate that there might be some rotation with that storm. So it's too early to tell based on where Justin was a short time ago. There seemed to be damage that was in a localized area, but you can see from some of the photos that we're sending, numerous down trees. Large trees were either uprooted or knocked down. The two large trees that I saw were facing in the same direction, but there was debris scattered about. There were some blown out windows, as we saw a moment ago. And you know, you asked Justin the question, Kenny, a short time ago, did it affect people? Were they hunkered down? I got out once the storm passed. I got in my vehicle to just kind of survey what was what in the area. And there were a lot of people on the roadway. So we were approaching rush hour at that point. It was probably near 5 o'clock, if not just after 5 p.m. And people were going about kind of doing their business as it was. But as far as the damage that I witnessed, it wasn't the worst that I've seen, certainly, but it certainly was impactful to Main Street and High Point.
Brian, earlier when we spoke with you, I believe it was in our 5 o'clock hour, you described seeing blinding rain that was gone in less than a minute. And when we went to Justin Schreier and spoke to him about 10 minutes ago, he saw rainbow. In terms of weather at this very moment in High Point, what are you seeing?
I got a nice photo of a rainbow myself a moment ago. One of the brighter double rainbows that you sometimes hear about or see, and as often is the case, when really bad weather comes through, the weather turns beautiful. I'm looking at partly sunny skies right now, and I'm about to post on social media a beautiful picture of a rainbow that came through. So, yeah, the weather cleared out very quickly. The storm, at least in my neighborhood, which is, I would estimate, about 2 to 3 miles, 3 miles maybe north of where the damage seemed to be. It certainly packed a punch. Winds in the trees, tornado sirens were heard from High Point University, not too far away. And the rain picked up very quickly. The wind was very intense, and it was gone probably a little over a minute, probably less than 2 minutes. But these are some of the things that you hear from people that witness severe weather. And sometimes when these very powerful thunderstorms come through, they cause a lot of damage very, very quickly.
Brian, we appreciate it as always, your time and effort. Glad that you and the family are safe, and it's been informative as always hearing from you here in our 5 and now 6 o'clock newscast. Thank you very much, and I'm sure our viewers will catch you tomorrow morning for a recap of all of this, and we certainly hope that the story ends up being a little bit of damage here, a little bit of damage there, lights coming back on. Could have been much, much worse. We hope that's the story that we're telling 24 hours from now, 12 hours from now anyway.
All right. Thanks, Kenny. Good to talk with you.
Okay, you too. Let's continue our team coverage now. Leanne Denyer, she joins us live from High Point. Leanne, can you give us our view and what exactly you're hearing and seeing from folks who are out there?
Yeah, hey Kenny, we are just off of South Main Street and Business 85. We just got to High Point and we got quite a mess behind us here. High Point Fire Department is here just taking a look at things. We have trees down. We have some property damage to these buildings just over my shoulder here. Jeff is here as well with me today. We've got a big tree down just over behind this sign. I'm not sure if you can see it at home right now, but gosh, what a mess. We also we're just talking with someone who came by to just take a look at all this damage. He says as he was driving over here, he actually had to stop under a bridge. He said the weather was just too much and he wanted to make sure that his family was safe. He said he's lived in the area for 60 years and he said he just hadn't experienced weather like this before. He said his car was shaking again. This was just someone who we just spoke to just a moment ago here in High Point who was here looking at this damage that we're seeing. Again, the fire department is here. We have some trees down. We're told that some of the roof on this building just behind me is also damaged. Fire department just kind of taking a look at how things are going. Glad to say though that nobody here is hurt. Mostly people just sort of taking in the shock. Again, we just got to High Point. We've been here for about 5 minutes, so we're gonna see what else there is to see and be sure to get you any important information back at home. We'll send it on back to you.
Okay, Leanne, thank you very much. Glad you're safe, and we will talk to you soon. Again, most of the damage reports that we are seeing are from High Point. That's why we have so many of our crews there. Let's continue the team coverage now. Justin Schreier. Justin, that crowd of folks behind you continues to grow, and of course, we're on the other side of daylight